Hello there. This is the Arkansas stone that Wayne sent me. I don't know if you can see or not, but I've been burnishing that stone. But when I started burnishing, I realized if you look, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a line here and a line along this edge that's more burnished than the rest of the stone. That means that these edges are tiny bit higher. So we need to take care of that. On a knife, that wouldn't make a dime's worth of difference. But running a razor across this stone with that lip high on both sides can cause all sorts of issues. That we really don't want. So I'm gonna mark that, set it aside, and I have some 150 to 220, I think it is, that Wayne Bean sent me. And we're gonna, if I can get, you know what? Thank God I'm a country boy. Yes, that's a song, but it's also a way of life for me. I'm gonna put some of this on here. You don't need like a crap ton of it. This is loose stick powder. I have some that's a lot coarser, and this is just clean water. But I don't want to go any coarser than I have to on this stone, number one, and number two, I don't think that we're going to need it. This is a flat piece of tempered glass that was actually the front of an old stereo cabinet. Remember those in the 80s? So, and you don't need any pressure. The stick will do that job for you. I might have to go down to like a straight 150. I think I have that somewhere, or a 180 or something like that, but I don't know. We'll find out. I'm going to put a little bit more grit in this, and I'm gonna level both sides. There. And you see me turning this around? That's to eliminate any pressure I might have one way or the other with my hand that I'm not aware of. You might actually want to do this. It doesn't matter, but And I'm going to continue with this. It's almost done. I'm going to continue with this, and then I'll be back. Alright, you can see that's a uniform color. I did both sides. There's a tiny little shiny spot here. That means that is infinitesimally a bit higher. I don't think you're going to notice that in a knife, and that is what I'm going to be using this side for. Is it this side? Let me see. This side. Or this is the side he's got marked chisel. But that's okay. We're going to concentrate on this side first. Right now what we're going to do, we did the 150 to 220, I think it is. This is 400. And I'm not marking a grid pattern because all I'm trying to do is bring this surface up to 400 grit. I'm not trying to level anything out or anything like that. This stone is already level. And of course, I forgot to turn my mic on. So I just now did that. That's alright. And what we're going to do is we're just going to smooth this out to 400. Also, I took the time to round or chamfer these edges a bit more when I was on the lower grit powder. So, and I'm going to condition both sides of this stone to 400, but one of them, the razor side, I'm going to bring up to a higher polish than the knife side. I'll probably finish the knife side at about 600 wet dry, because I don't have any 600 stick to do anything with. And I know that 600 wet dry is a really good polish for a knife. That's something that people don't understand about these stones. They think they understand it, but they really don't. These stones are highly, highly dependent on the type of surface you put on them. That's getting there. I'm going to add a bit more, 400. Make sure I'm on the right side. If I can find his marks. Yeah. And we're just going to keep polishing this until we get at a level that we're happy with. And one of the things too, this powder will break down and become finer. And I'm using that to my advantage on this stone when I'm conditioning this. And this stuff right here is a godsend. You know, the days of using a emery cloth and a really coarse like 30 grit emery cloth or 40 grit emery cloth, or a sidewalk, a concrete sidewalk, or a brick or something like that. I lived those days. Those were some rough times with Arkansas stone, but it was what you did to use the stones. Oh yeah, much nicer on this side. It is a 400, right? Want to make sure. We will come back after we have finished that. Now, I've been working on this for a little bit, just a few minutes, but now what we're going to do is burnish this stone. I use a big cleaver, anything that you can, anything good and metal that won't scratch the surface of the stone and that you can bear down with will do the job nicely. And I have found that best thing to use as far as a lubricant goes is water. And what I'm going to do, what I do, is I work. Dr. Matt Robbins did a burnishing video a while back. I think he did this, if I'm not mistaken. But he worked on the stone in halves, and I do the same thing because it's easier than trying to come down here and squeeze on this end here and actually get all of the stone. It's a whole lot easier to do it this way. And I'm prepping this for razors, and we're going to just put a crap ton of pressure on this stone. And I can see people saying, well, won't that? People that don't understand how flipping hard this stone is. Well, won't that a curved blade take your stone out flat? No, it won't. Not this stone. I tend to like to keep the surface as wet as I can get it. What I did, I came off of the 400 grit sick and basically used a bit of wet dry 600 on the surface, not very long at all. I don't know if you can see it or not. But getting a heck of a burnish on it. And I'm going to go some more. I have a paper towel over here that I know is clean. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm wiping the blade of this cleaver. Lovely. All right. That's what I'm talking about right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Sorry. Lovely. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip over to this side. The cleaver's not needed. I'm going to take some 600. And condition this stone on this side. This is for, I mean, I would use the other side for knives as well, but that's specifically burnished to a high burnish because I want that on my straights. But you can polish this up to a level that is under that, but one that works well. For knives. And what I'm going to do, is use some 600 dry on this stone without any lubricant. And it's a different way of prepping this stone, and I don't know if anybody else does this but me, and I don't care. I've used these stones since I was a little boy, off and on. Because as a little boy, a lot of times you get the stone that you can beg or borrow or steal or whatever else you want to call it. So, but yeah. Now what I'm going to do, I don't have, what I would normally do is move from 6 to 8 to 15, or to 1,000 and to 15. But I don't have, this is 1,500, so I'm going from 600 to 1,500. And I do it dry like this. I started out wet, but a lot of times what happens is dry, or wet rather, slows the process down to a point I don't particularly care for, and that feels pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is try to smooth that out a little bit more and get a new piece of 1,500. And I'm wondering, do I still have my camera running? Dude, this camera times out at like 29 minutes, and I'm not keeping track of time. So and every now and then what I'll do is stop and wipe the stone dry and look at it. Lovely. I want to go just a hair more on that. And then I'll show you the surface of this stone. The thing of it is you have people say stuff like, look, I'm not an expert, first of all, before I even say this. I'm not an expert at anything. But there are people, oh, Arkansas won't cut this steel. Or an Arkansas is too slow on this steel. Well, no, your Arkansas is not prepped for that steel. Now, there might indeed be Some of the modern steels that these won't cut. But a lot of the idea that these stones are slow doesn't have anything to do with the characteristics of the stone as much as it has to do with the characteristics of the prep of that stone. And that's important to understand. And most people, a lot of people that haven't used these stones very much, okay? Like with me, I grew up with them. Hate to tell you, but that's the truth, okay? And they were, when I was coming up, what everybody, one of these stones right here was like gold to a lot of people, okay? I want to compare the two sides. And this or translucent was the pinnacle of sharpening stones in that day. And there's a reason for it, and it ain't got nothing to do with the fact that they're slow. Okay? They're high quality stones. And they can be used in a lot of different ways. Okay, there's the burnished side. My battery's dying, and there's, I don't know if you can see, but it's just almost got a gloss on it. That right there will put a screaming edge on a knife really, really fast. But it's all in how you prep the stupid thing, not so much whether the stone is any good or not, because they are. You ain't got a question. If you got an Arkansas stone, a good Arkansas stone, there's no question. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.